Imagine stepping into a plane so extravagant, so wildly luxurious, that even the world's most exclusive first-class seats feel like budget travel. A plane where you could park your Rolls-Royce, take a Turkish bath mid-flight, and pray in a room that automatically turns to face Mecca, even at 40,000 feet. This isn't a fantasy, it's real, or at least, it almost was. Because one man, a Saudi prince worth billions, decided to build what the world would soon call the Flying Palace. When most people book a flight, they're happy to score a window seat. But for Prince Alwaleed bin Talal, one of the richest men in the Middle East, that wasn't enough. In 2007, he ordered something that shocked the aviation world, an Airbus A380, the largest passenger aircraft ever built. A double-decker giant capable of carrying over 800 passengers. But Alwaleed wasn't planning to share it with anyone. He wanted to strip out the seats, erase the aisles, and turn this colossal machine into his own private kingdom in the sky. At that time, the Airbus A380 was the pride of the aviation industry, a $320 million masterpiece of engineering. It was the kind of plane airlines used to show off their power and prestige. Emirates had one, Singapore Airlines had one, but no private individual had ever bought one. Until Prince Alwaleed, he was already famous for his wealth. A man often called the Warren Buffett of the Middle East, with stakes in companies like Citigroup, Twitter, and Four Seasons hotels. His fortune was estimated at over $25 billion. He lived in a palace with more than 300 rooms, owned hundreds of luxury cars, and traveled the world like royalty, because he was royalty. But even he wanted something that no other billionaire, no king, and no president had. He wanted to own the skies themselves. So, the design process began. And what the engineers and designers came up with defied imagination. This wasn't going to be a plane, it was going to be a flying palace in the truest sense. On the lower deck, a garage big enough to hold his Rolls-Royce Phantom, because of course, you might need a car when you land. A grand marble-floored Turkish bath, complete with steam rooms and gold-plated faucets. A dining hall that could seat 10 guests, with hand-woven carpets and chandeliers that shimmered in the cabin light. Above that, a spiral staircase, a feature borrowed straight from royal architecture, leading to the upper deck, where his private suite awaited. The bedroom, more like a hotel penthouse, had silk walls, 24-karat gold trims, and a massive mirror that doubled as a television screen. The master bathroom was pure opulence, think of a 5-star spa, floating above the clouds. And then came the pièce de résistance, a prayer room designed with cutting-edge technology. Special computer systems would automatically rotate the prayer mats to face Mecca, no matter where the aircraft was flying. It wasn't just luxury, it was spiritual precision built into aviation engineering. There were also plans for a concert hall with a baby grand piano, because apparently, there's always room for a little music, even in the sky. A meeting room that could transform into a business suite. Lounges that looked like the inside of royal palaces. It was going to be the most exclusive space ever to touch the clouds. When the first renderings leaked to the public, people couldn't believe what they were seeing. The world's biggest airliner, a plane usually used by airlines to carry hundreds, turned into a private flying mansion for one man. It was estimated that after customization, the total cost would exceed $500 million. That's right, more than $500 million for a single aircraft. To put that in perspective, that's the same cost as building an entire airport terminal, or buying several private islands. But for Alwaleed, it wasn't about the money. He once said, "Money is like oxygen, it's only important when you don't have it." For him, the Flying Palace was about status, about legacy, about proving that there were no limits to what wealth could create. And then, something unexpected happened. Just as the aircraft was being prepared, the world was hit by the 2008 financial crisis. Stock markets crashed, oil prices plunged, and even billionaires started rethinking their expenses. The global mood shifted, from extravagance to survival. Suddenly, owning a $500 million aircraft didn't look so good in the headlines. Whispers began circulating that Alwaleed had quietly decided not to go through with the conversion. The official reason was never confirmed, but reports claimed the plane never entered private service. Some say he sold the order to another buyer before it was even delivered. Others claim Airbus kept the jet and reconfigured it for commercial use. Whatever the truth, one thing is certain, the Flying Palace never truly took off. It remained a symbol, an icon of excess, ambition, and imagination. A dream that showed the world how far human luxury could go when money was no object. The plane that could have been the most expensive private jet in history, yet never touched the clouds as its owner intended. Even today, people still talk about it. The what-if plane. The one that never flew, yet somehow defined the limits of wealth. Prince Alwaleed continued to travel the world in his other jets, including a customized Boeing 747 with gold-trimmed interiors and private bedrooms. But nothing ever matched the legend of the A380 flying palace. Because the truth is, the A380 itself was a marvel. The largest and most complex passenger aircraft ever built. And converting one into a personal jet was an engineering challenge unlike anything the aviation world had seen. It wasn't just about adding gold and marble. It was about rewriting the physics of flight, balancing weight, power, and comfort at a scale never attempted before. The Flying Palace remains, even today, a fascinating, almost, a reminder of how ambition can sometimes reach higher than reality allows. But maybe that's what makes it so captivating. It's not the fact that it flew, it's that it could have. When you think about it, this story isn't really about a plane. It's about a mindset. The idea that luxury isn't about need, it's about possibility. That some people don't just dream of flying in comfort, they dream of flying in a palace. So, the next time you settle into your cramped airplane seat, fighting for the armrest or hoping for an upgrade, remember, there was once a man who planned to own the sky itself. A man who dared to imagine marble bathtubs and Rolls-Royces floating above the clouds. The world's biggest jet, the world's most ambitious design, and the dream that money, even $500 million, couldn't quite make real. The Airbus A380 Flying Palace, the jet that never flew, but will forever remind us that when it comes to human luxury, there truly are no limits.